This podcast is hosted by Buzzsprout. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners. The team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message to the world. If you want an upgrade, Buzzsprout has tons of guides to help you find exactly what you need. We use Buzzsprout and it's a game changer for us. An all-new analytics system helps us track who's listening to our show and where they're listening to it. If you'd like to use Buzzsprout as well, follow the link in our show notes to buzzsprout.com. And while you're there, let them know that Films and Fermentation sent you.
Hi everyone, this is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the number one way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening!
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Films and Fermentation. That's right, we are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. This is episode 121. At least once each season, we like to take a deep dive into the career of an actor or director. This season, we are looking at an actor who became a director. Tonight, episode 121, we're looking at the career of Ron Howard, from child star to Oscar-winning director. Don't forget to drop us an email, filmsandfermentation@gmail.com, or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation. Find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family by supporting us on Patreon or buying our merchandise at teespring.com. Don't forget, when you listen to the show, that you like, rate, review, and download our episodes. Help us get our name out there, get our metrics up on all those podcast websites. Gentlemen, what are we drinking this evening? I already gave you a teaser to mine before the show. So I had Chick-fil-A for dinner tonight. So I have a Coke Zero here, and I just threw some cinnamon Old Smoky moonshine in it. And I went a little overboard on the cinnamon, so now it tastes like liquid Red Hots, and it's burning my mouth.
The flames on the side of your face.
Side of my face, burning. So, Kev, what do you got going
on? Because of the turn in the weather, it's gotten a little cooler out. I think it's time for me to revisit the darker beers in my catalog.
At least it's cooler today.
Yes, it is cooler today. So I've pulled out one from the back. It's the Farmers and Bankers Brewing Cal Tippin Milk Stout. It's 5.6% alcohol by volume. I've had this on the show before, but it's good. Mm-hmm. It's solid.
Yeah. Shout out to Farmers and Bankers. We've mentioned them on the show before, and we had I had an email with them about mentioning them on the show, and they thanked us for it before. So.
Mm-hmm. They're from Woodstown, down in your neck of the woods, but not quite. Maybe a little bit further down.
A little further down, yeah. About 20 minutes down further.
Yeah.
Mike, what you got going on?
I am going into the fur month, so I am drinking a Trog's Oktoberfest Lager, 6.1 alcohol by volume. It's not bad.
Yeah, very nice. It's all right, the Trogs one.
Yeah.
I think I drank one at your barbecue a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it was my taste buds were a little ruined from the 9.0 alcohol by volume candy corn that I drank. But it had a weird flavor to me, but I think it might have just been that.
It could have been. It tastes like a lager, a little stronger than the normal lager, but
yeah, a little more caramely because it's the Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything special happened this week, Mike?
This week in film history. In 1947, WPVI TV Channel 6 in Philadelphia, ABC begins broadcasting.
Dun 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 dun. Yeah,
was
that's
gonna
the one. The other one is move closer to the
To the
world,
world,
my
my
friend.
friends.
Take a little bit of time. Move
Closer
closer
to
to the
the
world, my
world, my
friend,
friends, and you'll
and you'll
see.
see.
That's action news. So this is a very local, specific fact of the week here. 'Cause
Yes.
Kevin and I grew up in Philadelphia. Mike is a
Mhm.
Philadelphia transplant, so
Apparently,
It
you
is
all
my
watch Channel 6
station of
News.
choice. Yeah. My station of choice for my news.
I very rarely watch the news. I like get it all online mostly, or read it on like Philly.com or something like that. And
Mhm.
the other night I had I just finished watching a football game, and the news came on. I'm like, I haven't watched the TV news in a while. I'm going to watch it. 5 minutes into it, I was like, this is why I don't watch a fucking news
You
anymore.
were depressed, weren't
I
you?
was like, gee, I needed to take an extra Zoloft that night. It was horrible.
Very
Hey,
depressing.
see, I mean, yes, if you watch the regular news, you're going to have that. But Channel 6 does FYI, FYI Philadelphia. And every week it's like, okay, we're going to take you around and we're going to find the best Mexican restaurants, where we're going to take you around and find the best ice cream joints or the best places to go on a cool fall day. It's like, I will watch that. Absolutely. Put that on because I'd like to support local stuff,
I'll watch it, but I won't go to any of those places because they're all downtown Philly
Yeah.
on Center City.
Some of them are, but some like they did New Hope most recently. Like they were doing in the burbs, so like New Hope and Shady Brook and
Yeah, I mean, if
things
you're
in
going
Bucks County.
to throw some Bucks County areas out at me, I would think about it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. I put the news on in the mornings to see what the traffic's going to be like and the weather.
Yep.
That's about all I give a shit about.
Yeah.
I don't even do that anymore. I go on my GPS and I look and I'm like, oh, that road's red today, or we're taking this route to work today.
Yes, but I like to know. If there's an accident on 95 before I start heading for 95.
Yes.
Yesterday,
I have options.
yesterday I left early for work because I was trying to get there early because I had a lot to
42
do.
was fucked yesterday.
Oh no, it wasn't 42. I decided I'm going to take the turnpike into work because even though it's a little longer mileage wise, I usually tend to get there quicker because it's direct. I get on the PA turnpike side. I'm stuck between Ben Salem and where I have to get off at Willow Grove, right?
Road.
So I'm stuck. I can't go anywhere.
There's no access between them. Yeah.
2 back-to-back accidents. One was two delivery trucks that slammed into each other at a toll booth, and the next one was a 10-car pileup.
Oh,
It was a 47-minute delay.
Oh my God.
It took me almost 3 hours to get to work.
Oh my God. So you had a half day.
Yeah, so like I got there, I ended up having to stay late to make up for the time, and I'm like, this is the reason I was trying to get early in the first place.
Did you hear that the 2 delivery trucks, the one was delivering peanut butter, the other one was delivering jelly?
I thought there was a right Twix and left Twix truck.
I thought it was Oreos and milk,
We'll never sort this out.
chocolate and peanut butter.
What's the next one we got there, Mike?
In 1964, Walt Disney was awarded the Medal of Freedom at the White House.
This is prior to getting his head frozen, I guess.
Yeah, prior to that.
1964.
Okay.
Yeah, 64.
Next
And
one's a good one.
1995, Seven, directed by David Fincher and starring Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, and Kevin Spacey, premieres in New York.
That is a classic.
I saw this with a high school friend, and I was writing for the newspaper. I was doing movie reviews, and I remember sitting through this, and I was like, "This is awesome!"
Did you see the trailer for his new film?
No, what is it?
It's a new film. It's called The Killer, and it stars Michael Fassbender.
Ooh.
As a
yes. I did see it.
I think he's playing like a serial killer in the film or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it has that sort of like Seven vibe to it when you watch the trailer for it.
Okay.
Oh,
So yeah, and the last one's a good one too.
2019, Jojo Rabbit, directed by Taika Waititi and starring Scarlett Johansson, wins top award at the Toronto Film Festival.
It's such a good movie.
Would then go on to win the 2020 Oscar for Best Original Screenplay as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that movie. I have to watch it again. I haven't watched it probably. Like I watched it when it came out on Prime. I didn't see it in the theater, And then I watched it again after it won the Oscar, but I haven't watched it since then. I got to watch it again.
Mm.
A really good movie. You got any must-try beer craft destinations for us this evening, Mike?
I have a must-try. No, I have a destination for you guys. One that I have actually been to.
Ooh.
This is from Port City Brewing Company, Alexandria, Virginia. Come visit this brewery that won Best Small Brewery in America in 2016, just out the nation's capital. Port City is one of the largest craft breweries in the southern United States, but the main reason you should visit is the quality of its award-winning lineup of beers. 5 flagships are always on tap with pints and tasting flights, and a growler fill on an offer that I can't speak tonight.
Tonight.
An offer at the tasting room. Special beers and tours are also available, making the brewery an essential and exclusive destination for true craft beer fans. It's a very good brewery, very nice place to go have a few beers.
Nice.
I might have to, when we take our little break midway through the show, I might have to go ice my mouth down because I'm burning from all the cinnamon moonshine, man.
Burning.
Synopsis
Drink
according
milk.
to Glip. This is our synopsis according to Glip, brought to you by Newsly.me. Newsly.me is an audio super app for iOS and Android that reads the news to you in a natural human voice. Stop scrolling, start listening. Go to Newsly.me today and put in the promo code ANDFERMENT to get the first month premium subscription for free. So again, for anybody listening to us for the first time, Glip is our program that we use for recording. It gives us a synopsis of the episode at the end, and the synopsis is sometimes accurate, sometimes not so much accurate, usually pretty entertaining. This week's was no different, I believe. So according to Glip, last week's episode, which we talked about blue-collar films about blue-collar workers and such, and this is what Glip had to say about it. Kev Man and Megan are discussing Molly with their own satellite dish around their necks. Kevman and Leo hate Heather Graham because they were stood up on a date and Nicolas Cage went out with them instead. Kevman is going to interview a cannibalistic serial killer in episode 120 of Films of Fermentation. We need to talk about that because I don't remember that one at all. Kevman told Mike that if you wanted to buy one Pepsi Blue Ribbon, you would have to drink it out of a brown paper bag. Kevman and Mike discussed a conspiracy episode that involved little creatures that took over the bodies of captains and admirals and stuff. And the host discussed the blue-collar films they came up with on their list.
As a side note.
So go all the way to the last sentence of that paragraph to get us the actual main idea. So,
actually,
I dominated that episode.
Actually, as a side note, we went out. Adrian and I went out earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
They go pick up a few things, and on our way back, there was a guy sitting at the bus station with a sweatshirt promoting Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I thought you were going to say he was wearing a sweatshirt that said "You corned beef drinking motherfucker" on it.
Oh, that would have been at the beginning of the show.
you corned beef.
Hey, you're wearing our merch.
Yes, yes. Please go to teespring.com, the Films and Fermentation storefront, and you can get yourself a hoodie, a sweatshirt, a T-shirt, or even a mug that says "You corned beef drinking motherfucker" on it. You could also get yourself a mug or a T-shirt or a sweatshirt or a mouse pad that says "I'm here for Mike's beer wisdom."
Yep.
Let's see here. So you guys are talking about the dog at the beginning because she had to, she got fixed, so she had the cone around her head and all that.
Yeah, it's a cone of shame, and she's, bringing cable to our home.
We were joking that you have a hatred for Heather Graham because she stood you up on a date one day, and she went out with Nicolas Cage instead or something. Yeah,
I hate the breath.
Yeah. I don't know. The interview a cannibalistic serial killer in episode 120. I have no idea what that one is about.
I mean, it sounds like Silence of the Lambs to me.
Does.
Interviewing a cannibalistic serial killer.
We did talk about Silence of the Lambs at one point because you said something along the lines of should we add that to the list for blue collar jobs because she's a cop or she's an FBI or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it was unrealistic to send a rookie to interview
a serial killer. A cannibalistic serial killer. Okay, so I guess it was accurate.
It was, but it was like
Kev Mann told Mike that if the Pabst Blue Ribbon was Mike joking about that as his blue collar drink, and that you have to drink it out of a brown paper bag. Then we were talking about the conspiracy episode of Star Trek Next Generation in season 1. Yep. And then the last sentence was the actual, most accurate one of it all. It was an episode about blue collar films. Which, by the way, I have a comment about that episode from Chris and Deb at Today We Laughed and Learned.
Okay.
They commented on Good Pods. Great episode, guys. Thank God you added Police Academy. Because we talked about that at the end. And they said some other blue collar films you maybe could have put on the list. Cocktail.
Yes.
Silkwood, yep. Frankie and Johnny, or Smoke, which is another Harvey Keitel film.
Okay. Frankie and Johnny was the waiter.
Yeah,
and waitress.
Frankie and Johnny was it was Al Pacino and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Right.
And they were like a chef and a waitress at a diner.
Right.
Silkwood is a Meryl Streep film. I think it's another union related film. Okay. And Smoke is Harvey Keitel works at a smoke shop. Sells cigarettes and cigars and stuff. So that was a comment from Chris and Deb over at Today We Laughed and Learned. And this was our synopsis according to Glip. Last week we talked about smartest villains in film, and we got a listener submission that was late to the party a little bit, but I wanted to give him a shout out. Gloria Schlock on Twitter replied to us, "This is all I have to say about this," and then put a picture of Kevin Spacey and The Usual Suspects on the screen.
Didn't I say that one?
You said that. You had said that one yourself. Kaiser Soze was the one, and they had they had commented off on it later on. So I just wanted to give them a shout out.
Yes, good ear. Yes, I agree with you. We're on the same page.
And then congratulations to the Fandalorians, who just published their 100th episode this week. So, if you like to listen to another podcast that has a lot to say about TVs, movies, and pop culture, check out the Fandalorians, Teachers by Day, Nerds by Night. They just celebrated their 100th episode, and if you listen to the whole episode, you get to hear us congratulate them in a promo somewhere inside the episode as well.
Congratulations, guys. This is the way.
Yeah, this is the way. We're going to take a short break and play a couple messages for you, and then we will be back with our main segment, The Career of Ron Howard.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Deb.
And we host a pretty fun podcast called Today We Laughed and Learned. You know, this is where we discuss all the things we should have learned, but, never did. And we have quite a few laughs along the way.
Today We Laughed and Learned with Chris and Deb.
We're curious about everything. Experts on nothing.
Come find us wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey movie lovers, it's Jackson here from the Back to the Blockbuster podcast. If you've ever wanted to hear an amateur cinephile and an industry professional chat about film and television, then look no further, because every week my co-host Gaius and I, we bring you the latest industry news, break down the most recent trailers, try to beat the box office with our weekly predictions, and dive into our favorite movies on their anniversaries. And every second Friday, you can look forward to the Back to the Blockbuster spin-off, Deep Dives with Owen and Gaius, where the duo dissects a movie of their own choice. All this and more wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back from our short break with our main segment, The Career of Ron Howard, from child star to Academy Award-winning director. So one of the things I was shocked by when I was doing the research for this was,
my God,
I knew he won an Oscar for Best Director. I swore to God it was for Apollo 13.
That's what I thought it was too.
It was not. He didn't even get nominated for Apollo 13. It was one of those rare instances where the film was nominated for Best Picture, but the director did not get nominated. It's crazy.
Wow.
He won Best Picture, so he won an Oscar as producer and an Oscar as director for A Beautiful Mind in 2002. And then he was nominated again for picture and director for Frost Nixon in 2009. But that's it. I could have sworn he was nominated for a couple other movies.
I think what happens with that is we end up seeing Tom Hanks and we automatically think this must have had, this must have won an Oscar or, because Tom Hanks naturally.
Yeah,
He,
he did so many of his films, and Tom Hanks usually gets nominated himself.
Right.
So, Ron Howard.
My God.
has a very long IMDb. We're not going to spend too much time on the acting credits because a lot of it was when he was a child star. We're going to talk a little bit more about his directing credits.
But there are a few highlights we should probably hit.
No, there are. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about a few. I'm going to do a little bit of trivia first, though. He has 4 children, and all 4 of his children are named after the places where they were conceived. I don't know how I would feel about that growing up, that I'm advertising that. So Bryce Dallas Howard. Dallas,
Texas. Poor Bryce.
Then he has a daughter named Paige Carlisle twins, Paige Carlisle and Jocelyn Carlisle. They are named after the Hotel Carlisle in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And a son named Reed Cross, who is named after a specific road. Reed Cross Road. That tells me that happened in a car.
He was taking some lessons from when he was in American Graffiti.
Henry Winkler, who played the Fonz on Happy Days, is the godfather of all of his children.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. When he was a child actor, his father was very involved in his career, protecting him from unfair treatment and being strict with him when necessary. He is the only original and youngest surviving cast member of the Andy Griffith Show.
Mm.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, that came on in 1960, so
1960 to 1968.
And this is here's the thing where I said it was crazy that he didn't get nominated for Apollo 13 because A Beautiful Mind and Apollo 13 are on the American Film Institute's 100 most inspiring movies of all time. So it's an they're AFI respected films. Like I can't believe he didn't get nominated for that.
Mm-hmm.
As of 2018, he's appeared in 3 films nominated for Best Picture. He was in The Music Man in 1962, American Graffiti in 73, and he had a small role in Beautiful Mind in 2001. So he was actually in the movie that he won directing Oscar for. Played Richie Cunningham in 4 different series: Love American Style, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, and the Fonz and the Happy Days Gang.
Yep.
Which was an animated series. He was awarded 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He has a star for acting and a star for directing. For TV and for film, rather. And then, let's see, is there anything else we should be going through here? He's directed his father, Rance Howard, in 15 films. Grand Theft Auto in 77, Splash in 1984, Cocoon in 85, Gung Ho in 86, Parenthood, Far and Away, The Paper, Apollo 13, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, A Beautiful Mind, The Missing, Cinderella Man, Frost Nixon, Angels and Demons, and The Dilemma. And his younger brother, Clint Howard, has been in 16 of his films. Boy, he's not afraid of the whole Nepo baby thing in Hollywood, is he? I don't want to name all the films because we're going to get to some of them in the IMDb anyway. He was a contestant on The Dating Game in 1971 and ended up choosing Bachelorette number 2. So he was the guy choosing the girls. He is a huge fan of cricket, which is odd.
Yeah. Pretty obscure.
Yeah. He attended John Burroughs High School with actress Renee Russo. Was awarded the National Merit Medal of Arts from the National Endowment of the Arts in 2003. Was set to direct a movie called I See You at one point, but scrapped that in order to do How the Grinch Stole Christmas. In 2007, Forbes estimated his 2006 earnings to be $35 million. And he was ranked number 7 on VH1's list of the top 100 greatest kid stars. So let's take a look then at his IMDb here. Or should we let's look at the awards first anyway. So I was saying on the awards here, I had this list on Wikipedia because it was easier to figure out. He's won a lot of awards for his movies, but not many Oscars, and I was really shocked by that. So he has the 2 Oscars for Beautiful Mind and 2 more nominations for Frost Nixon, but he won a BAFTA, which is the British version of the Oscars, for Best Children's Film for How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and won, or was nominated for Beautiful Mind, Frost Nixon, Rush, and The Beatles' 8 Days a Week. And then he's also had some Daytime Emmy Awards and some Primetime Emmy Awards for the many series that he was on as a child and even as an adult, because he was one of the producers on Arrested Development.
Yep.
And was also the narrator on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He has won 2 Golden Globes for Best Actor in Happy Days and Best Motion Picture, A Beautiful Mind. And a number of other different awards here. So yeah, he's done it all. So let's take a look at his IMDb. So I'm going to go to the acting one first, just so we can kind of bang out a few of the ones that we should mention. So he started his acting career. What's that, Mike?
Well, he started his acting career in 1956.
Yeah.
When he was uncredited.
I'm having a load error.
So his real first credited role was The Journey in 1959,
and that is a movie.
It was a movie. Yep.
He's billed as Ronnie Howard.
Yep.
Then he did Playhouse 90. He was on Johnny Ringo, which is a TV series. He was on The Twilight Zone.
Skeleton Power.
Yeah, Danny Thomas Show, Dennis the Menace for a few episodes. And it wasn't, he was in The Many Lives of Dobie Gillis. And then his first major role was in The Music Man in 1962. And that was a movie that was nominated for Best Picture. He plays the role of Winthrop Peru. At the time, he is also doing The Andy Griffith Show, because that started in 1960.
Yes, he did.
And then he did The Courtship of Eddie's Father in 63. He was in the Fugitive TV series for 1 episode. Yep. And then his next major accomplishment was The Andy Griffith Show, ended in 1968. And then in the 70s, he started his run on...
Hold on real quick before we just skip over Andy Griffith Show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about it. He was 6 years old when he started that show.
Yes.
So being under the learning tree of Andy Griffith and Don Knotts at 6 years old.
And he did 243 episodes of that show too, because it lasted for 8 seasons. He was on Gunsmoke, Lassie. I forgot this. He was on MASH for an episode.
Yes, it was.
In 1973, he played I think he played a soldier who lied about his age to get into the army or something.
Yeah, he played a Korean kid who lied about his age to get into.
Yeah, because it's easy to play a Korean kid when you're a freckled redhead.
Yes,
then he did American Graffiti in 1973, another Oscar-nominated film directed by George Lucas. And from there, I'm trying to see, when did Happy Days start? 1974. So right after American Graffiti, he joined the cast of Happy Days, and he did 170 episodes of that show, which lasted for 10 seasons, ending in 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Did a return to Mayberry in 1986. And then he has a lot of one-off appearances in shows and movies and all, even going up until recently with...
Well, there was one movie... 1976, he did The Shootist, which was John Wayne's
last movie, right?
But he was also in the movie with Lauren Bacall, James Stewart, Richard Boone, Harry Morgan. The man just knows how to get into a room with stars, doesn't he?
I think that's what made him so like desirable as a director, because he had so many connections in Hollywood.
Yeah.
There apparently was a sequel to American Graffiti called More American Graffiti.
But, so he would be 20 when he did The Shootist. So I still under the learning curve of all those actors in one movie. Jesus.
Yeah. So let's go into his directing career, because this is where we can have some more, more discussion about films. So his first directing credit is 1969. He directed a short film called Deed of Daring Do, and he has a bunch of short films. His first major film.
He was 15 years old when he started directing.
Yeah, so that's why they're like short films. His first major film, like major studio film, was Grand Theft Auto in 1977, which I already said starred his father as well as his younger brother Clint.
It was the basis of the video game, actually.
I don't know. Never seen this movie. I never, so I couldn't tell you. Then he did back to doing some like TV films, and then like his first hit was 1982. He directed Night Shift, which starred his Happy Days co-star and best friend Henry Winkler, as well as very young Michael Keaton and Shelley Long. A mild-mannered morgue attendant is assigned to the night shift, and his new co-worker, along with his prostitute neighbor, convince him of running a prostitution ring out of the morgue.
Naturally.
Yeah, I haven't seen Night Shift in a really long time. I was probably too young when I did see it. And all I remember about it is at one point he promises the prostitutes like health care or something in order to get them to join his prostitution ring. The one I do remember, because I watched it, I think last year was probably the most recent time I watched this, his next major film, which was a monster in the box office, 1984, Splash.
Yeah, this is probably the one that put him on the map.
It's the one that put him on the map as the director, not to mention it's the one that began his, collaboration with Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
I love this movie. It's a quote-unquote fish out of water film about a mermaid who...
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you see what I did there? Young man is reunited with a mermaid he briefly encountered as a boy and falls in love with her without knowing her secret. Starring Tom Hanks, Eugene Levy, John Candy, and Daryl Hannah as the mermaid Madison. For me, John Candy stole this movie. John Candy is hilarious in this film.
Eugene Levy was pretty good too.
Eugene Levy has a great role in it. Tom Hanks is great, of course. I watch it because John Candy just cracks me up in it. From there, he directs another icon of the 80s, Steve Guttenberg.
The Goot!
In 1985's surprise hit, actually, Cocoon.
Bunch of old people go in a pool and get younger.
Couldn't stay away from the water.
Yeah.
From Splash to Cocoon.
When a group of trespassing seniors swim in a pool containing alien cocoons, they find themselves energized with youthful vigor. It was a movie that I don't think anybody really expected to do well, and it ended up being like a box office monster.
No, Brian Dennehy brought it.
Yeah, it was Brian Dennehy. Wilford Brimley's in it. Don Amici, Hume Cronin, Steve Guttenberg, Jessica Tandy, and a lot of other old people.
Hume Cronin?
Yeah, Killen Howard's in this one as well. I like Cocoon.
Was that Wesley from...
I don't have to watch Cocoon
Wesley
too, but...
Crusher? No, that wasn't Wesley Crusher.
No, he wasn't in that.
No, but that was a kid that was in every 80s movie ever.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids like that you see all over the place, and then you never see him again in 1990. I thought Cocoon 2 was okay. It wasn't great. I mean, it wasn't directed by Ron Howard, so
Yeah.
1986, he does Gung Ho. We actually briefly mentioned this last week because it has to do with the auto industry.
Yeah.
And we were talking about another movie last week on our Blue Collar episode. Gung Ho is about a Japanese car company that buys an American plant. The American liaison must mediate the clash of work attitude between the foreign management and native labor. Another Michael Keaton joint. Also stars George Wendt, John Turturro, and Mimi Rogers. And Getty Watanabe. Wasn't Getty Watanabe the guy from the what's the movie with Molly Ringwald?
Goonies?
16 Candles.
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
he was
Ducky.
long duck dong.
Long duck dong.
Oh,
This is another one I haven't seen in a really long time.
which one? Willow?
No, Gung Ho.
Oh, going home.
Oh.
I haven't seen Gung Ho in a really long time. Let's see here. What are you doing to me, IMDb?
In '88, he did Willow.
Mm-hmm.
Then '89, he did Parenthood.
I don't think any of the three of us would complain about Willow.
No, or even Parenthood.
Parenthood was a really good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Parenthood was one like I didn't really appreciate much as a kid.
But as you got older and watch it, you could,
you see you make the connections and you feel for the people in it. And
yeah,
it's
when the one mom finds the ear wax remover.
Yeah,
No,
not
an ear wax remover.
It's Joaquin Phoenix's film debut, and he plays.
Was that his film debut? Because I thought it was Space Camp.
Was it Space? Yeah, you're right. It was Space Camp. Yeah. It was Space Camp. I think this was probably his second film, maybe, because he was still very young.
Was it his film debut as Joaquin Phoenix and not Leaf Phoenix?
It's possible. It's possible. I don't know, because he's walking around with the bag all the time, and the mom thinks it's drugs, and you find out it's just porn.
Yep.
And he gets a manly talking to by Keanu Reeves.
Whoa.
That was a stacked cast, man. You had
Steve Martin,
Rick Moranis,
Steve Gutenberg,
Rick Moranis was in it.
Rick Moranis, Tom Hulse,
Diane Wiest, Jason Robarbs, Keanu Reeves, Martha Plimpton. He was Joaquin Phoenix, and he was Lee Phoenix still in this one. It's a decent movie, Parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of his like major hits, like his major success, comes in the '90s here, because then you have Backdraft, which we talked about in our Blue Collar episode as a movie about firefighters. Probably, I don't know what you guys think of this film, but I think it's probably his weakest film of the '90s. Was Far and Away.
As in, keep that movie far and away from us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the movie I saw in the theaters on a date.
God bless you.
He wanted to see it. We went to the date, watched that movie.
And you never watched it again.
Nope, I haven't seen it since.
If anything, this was a commercial success for Enya, who actually had a song come out of it.
Yeah, I said if you've never seen Far Away, you just want to watch it out of your morbid curiosity. Just watch a few scenes to hear Tom Cruise's
Irish accent.
Irish accent.
Irish.
I'm Ron Burgundy. I'm an Irish immigrant.
Possibly Irish, possibly Scottish, a little bit of Malibu. I don't know. It's all kind of mixed in there a little bit.
Malibu.
Then in 1994, he does a movie called The Paper.
That one I don't know.
This one stars Michael Keaton, Glenn Close, Marissa Tomei, Robert Duvall, Randy Quaid, Jason Robarbs, Jason Alexander, Catherine O'Hara.
Jesus Christ.
If I remember this one correctly, it's a newspaper that's getting ready to publish this article about two boys who were accused of a crime, probably murder. And some of the reporters or the paper, people who run the paper are questioning the morality of it because they don't have solid leads. It's not done like true reporting. It's tabloid stuff, and that's the basis of the movie.
Henry Hackett, who I think is Michael Keaton's character, editor of a New York City tabloid, the workaholic who loves his job, but the long hours and low pay are leading to discontent. Also, the publishing company is facing financial straits, and they're firing people left and right. And then, they cover a story about a serious, crime or something like that, but in tabloid style.
Mm-hmm.
But Randy Quaid's in it too.
Wow.
Randy Quaid.
It's pre-Hollywood's trying to assassinate me, Randy Quaid.
Pre the alien came and shoved something up his ass.
Here's a stretch. Now, there's a stretch of movies in the '90s that I saw like every single one of these because at that point I was kind of like on
Very
board
close.
because it started with Apollo 13 in 1995.
Yep.
Again, I can't believe he was not nominated for this film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the film is iconic for the whole, Houston, we got a problem scene.
Yep.
You got Tom Hanks returning again. You got Gary Sinise. You got Ed Harris,
Kevin Bacon.
Bill Paxton's in this one.
Paxton,
Mhm.
yep.
I mean, it's a really good movie. I remember them talking about how they did like the space scenes too. Like they use one of those
The Vomit Comet.
the Vomit Comet airplanes that NASA uses. They go up for like a few seconds to be weightless. So they were like filming scenes in like let's say like half-minute blocks because they were doing like the thing. 1996, he directs this. I was actually shocked to find out he directed this film. Ransom, starring Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson usually doesn't do things that aren't directed by Mel Gibson.
I mean, not only that, this doesn't feel like a Ron Howard film.
Yeah,
You know,
but
like
Ron Howard had enough clout that Gibson had to listen.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like a Ron Howard film. It's a different kind of film. So Ransom is about a rich man whose son gets abducted, and
This was the what's his name?
This was
what's the TV show? Not Cops.
Bad Boys.
Yeah, no, it was the guy who hosted that TV show. Why can't I think of it?
You think about Unsolved Mysteries?
No.
So this was Mel Gibson, Gary Sinise, Rene Russo, Delroy Lindo, Lily Taylor, Liev Schreiber, Donnie Wahlberg, and most of those names I just named were the ones who were the abductors. Paul Guilfoyle, who was in it, he was in CSI. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, I'm looking it up now, so I'll try and back in with it in just a minute. But
so this is a movie about a man who he's a multimillionaire. His son is kidnapped. After initially agreeing to pay the ransom, he then decides to use the ransom money as a bounty to hunt down the men who abducted his son. I saw this movie. I remember kind of liking it when I first saw it, and then watching it a second time and being like, wow, it's not really as great as I thought it was.
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. What I remember most about the movie is the quote from like the trailers, "Give me back my son." Then he did Ed TV. That was Matthew McConaughey.
That was the twin movie to the Truman Show.
Yeah, and I saw Ed TV. I don't remember much about it because I can honestly say I've seen Truman Show way more because I really like the Truman Show. Then he does The Grinch Stole Christmas in 2000. I remember seeing this in the theater and thinking to myself afterward, was that necessary? I was already happy with the cartoon with Boris Karloff doing the voice of the narrator. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. He then does A Beautiful Mind in 2001, which he wins his only Oscar for Best Director, as well as a producing Oscar for Best Picture. And it's a movie now that kind of gets a lot of flack for its being very inconsistent with the truth. I mean, again, it's a Hollywood film. There's going to be embellishments.
Yes.
For what it was a good movie. It's one of Russell Crowe's best performances. I think Paul Bettany, was in it as well.
He was.
And Jennifer Connelly won Oscar for best supporting actress for it.
So just to take a step back, I'm sorry, I know we're focusing on A Beautiful Mind. Ransom, what I thought, and I looked at the trivia, so maybe I'm wrong with my thinking. I thought Ransom was based off of the America's Most Wanted guy John Walsh. Wasn't his son kidnapped?
His son was murdered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the host of America's Most Wanted. His son was. That's why he started the America's Most Wanted program.
Okay.
It was to hunt down other criminals and stuff because his son was abducted, and then they found the kid's body, I think, or something like that. Like they didn't get him back.
I don't know why I
Yeah.
thought Ransom was about that. Like it was.
I mean,
telling
it could be
story,
like
but-
loosely based on it, maybe.
right.
I don't think John Walsh ever got on the phone with anybody and was like, "Give me back my son," So
Well, he could have.
he could have. I don't know. Yeah. Then he directs what's probably wasn't a flop, but not. It was kind of disappointing. It was the Da Vinci Code.
Oh, you missed Cinderella Man and the Missing. Didn't you?
No, I did, didn't I? Yeah, the
Mhm.
Missing. I don't know the Missing. I don't think I've seen that one.
It's got
Looks like it's most like a Western. Yeah, 1885 New
1885
Mexico.
New Mexico. Frontier medicine woman forms an uneasy alliance with her estranged father when their daughter is kidnapped by an Apache guerrilla. Yeah, I never heard of this one. It's odd for me not to hear of something.
Mhm.
Tommy Lee Jones, Kate Blanchett, Evan Rachel Wood, Aaron Eckhart, Val Kilmer. Yeah, I am really surprised. I know, I'm really surprised. I've never heard of this one.
Maybe that's what we should
might
watch.
have to check it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he does Cinderella Man. Another one, like, it was nominated for Best Picture, but he didn't get nominated for Director. Like, they like to nominate his films, but not him. It was a decent movie. Another good Russell Crowe performance. Really, really good performance by Paul Giamatti in that film.
Mhm.
And then he does the Da Vinci Code in 2006, which was kind of disappointing.
I didn't read it. I didn't read the book either, so.
The book was really, really good.
Book was good. And I
Um,
think, as much as I love Tom Hanks, I just don't know if this was the right role for him.
I totally
You
agree.
know, I don't.
Totally
I
agree.
didn't. When I read the book, I didn't think Tom Hanks as that character. I didn't think action hero. I definitely thought like Ivy League snob, but not Tom Hanks.
I actually, in my head, had like Harrison Ford, and only because there was like an Indiana Jones connection.
Yeah, I get that
A little
I
bit,
can see that.
but I didn't think when it came to casting it, like, yeah, I love Tom Hanks, but I didn't see him as the especially, and there was no like chemistry between him and
No, that
the
there
actress
was
in the
none.
film. Yeah,
Right.
and you needed some kind of chemistry there. He gets nominated for his next picture though, Frost Nixon.
Mhm.
Stars Michael Sheen
Mhm.
as David Frost and Frank Langella as Richard Nixon. Also stars Kevin Bacon, Sam Rockwell, Matthew McFadden, and Oliver Platt, and Rebecca Hall. And this is a dramatic retelling of the post-Watergate television interview between British talk show host David Frost and former President Richard Nixon. And the thing that was like the biggest controversy about this is that David Frost was not a journalist; he was a talk show host.
Right.
But he was given a like serious interview with Richard Nixon about what happened at Watergate. I saw that when it came out. I have not seen it since.
Mhm.
Decent movie, really, really good performances though. Then he went back to the Dan Brown well and brought out Angels and Demons in 2009.
Did not like that one nearly as much as I liked the first one.
Let me tell you something. For as much as people like praise the Da Vinci Code book,
Mhm.
Angels and Demons was a much better book.
Yes.
Angels and Demons was the prequel to the Da Vinci Code,
Okay.
and it was a phenomenal novel and a shit show of a movie.
Yeah, I think that's what they missed in the movie. It didn't come off like it was supposed to be a prequel.
Yeah, and it was not it was a prequel, and again, you were already committed to Tom Hanks as the main character, so I think that was, you couldn't get out of it at that point.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it had the potential too. I mean, you had Ewan McGregor in it, and it was a really interesting story, but just fell flat. I don't know what this is. Heidi Montag says no to plastic.
It's probably just a video.
2010. Well, they're all videos. It might be like a music video, maybe, or something. Presidential reunion. The Dilemma in 2011. That is a comedy film starring Vince Vaughn. This is a man discovers that his best friend's wife is having an affair. Vince Vaughn, Kevin James, Winona Ryder, Jennifer Connelly, Channing Tatum, Queen Latifah, and his father, Rance Howard. And I'm like, I remember this movie coming out. I remember trailers for it. I never seen it, and I had no idea that Ron Howard directed it.
No, well, you don't really put Ron Howard and Vince Vaughn together, you know,
Or Kevin James.
or Kevin James. They were on loan from Adam Sandler.
Yeah. And this is where his like IMDb starts getting like a little weird here because you know, he does that. He does Rush in 2013, which is a racing film. Stars Chris Hemsworth, who of course plays Thor, and Daniel Bruhl, who plays Zemo in the MCU. It is about the 1970s rivalry between Formula One racers James Hunt and Niki Lauda. Decent film. I don't know enough about like the racing though to like
Right.
get that part of it. Then he does a Made in America, Breakthrough, which is a TV series. In the Heart of the Sea, which also stars Chris Hemsworth. It's supposed to be the true story behind Moby Dick.
I did see that.
I have not seen that one. Did you see it?
Yeah, it was very good.
Okay.
It was very good. Yeah.
I did not see that one. I was too traumatized by having to read Moby Dick in college. The Beatles, 8 Days a Week, The Touring Years, which was a documentary film. I have not seen that. The Inferno, which is the third Dan Brown book, turned into film. The book was terrible. And so I did not see the movie because I was like, why am I going to suffer through a film based on a book that I did not like?
Actually, didn't like the first two movies either.
Yeah. And then he does a TV series called Genius, and then solo a Star Wars story in 2018. Kevin and I, there you go. Kevin and I saw this in the theater, and we both came out rather enjoying it because we went in with this philosophy: let's not expect much.
Right, because of all the turmoil that took place with directors and actors, and
yeah, I think he was the fourth director or something.
He was like pulled in at the last minute. He had to like duct tape and bubblegum the movie together.
I enjoyed the movie. I feel that they got the wrong person to play Han Solo.
I feel like he was the least charismatic actor in the film. Like Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian.
He stole the movie. He stole the
movie.
Woody Harrelson was really good. Paul Bettany was amazing as the villain.
Oh yeah.
And I liked Amelia Clark. I thought Amelia Clark's hard not to be adorable in anything she's in, but I kind of agree with that. But overall I enjoyed the film. I thought it was what it was.
I like how it went back to some of the animated series, with Darth Maul and the gang they're in. So.
Right. I liked one of my things was L337, the droid that flew the ship, the pilot, and how she gets integrated into the ship. It kind of gives her, now it's her. Yeah,
the ship is a personality now.
Yeah,
I like that there was the backstory in the film was from a lot of the like expanded universe novels that I had read too. So they kept a lot of that in there. I also read that so Disney Plus was supposed to do a Lando series with Donald Glover, but now because of the writer's strike and all these projects that are getting pushed back and stuff for it, that it sounds like they might just do a feature-length film instead.
Okay.
Of the Lando. Which I'm okay with either one.
I am. Yep.
And then his most recent list of films, I have not seen any of these yet. Pavarotti in 2019, Rebuilding Paradise in 2020. Hillbilly Elegy, I heard a little bit about. Stars Amy Adams and Glenn Close. We Feed People in 2022 and 13 Lives in 2022. So his most recent films have not done really well, and I have not seen any of them.
No.
He does have 4 films in development or pre-production right now. Sevens. That is based on a sci-fi novel that I read recently that was really, really good. I did not know he was directing that. A colony of survivors living in outer space try to return to Earth thousands of years later after the planet has been evacuated. The novel was really, really good, so I'm hoping, it translates well. Origin of Species, The Fixer, and Shrinking of Treehorn are all upcoming projects of his. So overall, I feel like he had most of his success was probably as a director was late
In the
80s
early,
into the
late
90s.
80s, early 90s.
Yeah, and then it kind of tapered off a little bit. He had success with the solo film, but like you said, Kev, it was a lot of duct tape and bubblegum because he was, I'm pretty sure he was like the fourth director that they brought on.
Yeah. They kept changing the storyline. They had different, ideas.
And he leaves behind a family legacy because he has his father, Mance Howard, who has starred in a number of his films, his brother, Clint Howard, who has a acting career outside of, Ron Howard films, but has done a lot of Ron Howard films.
Yes, he did. Yeah. He was in an episode of the original series Star Trek.
Yeah, he was in that. He was one of the soldiers who sees Dr. Evil's rocket in Austin Powers.
This looks like a big Johnson.
Yeah. And he was also star of the horror film Ice Cream Man. He plays a serial killer in an ice cream truck.
That was the twin film to Candyman.
Yeah.
Guess which one did better?
It was the twin film to Ginger Dead Man. And then he has his daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard, who had a pretty successful acting career of her own and has now started moving on into directing herself, directing a number of episodes of the Mandalorian series, some of the better episodes too. So I look forward to seeing where she goes with her directing career. Mike, do you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening?
The beer history. Porter was king in the early 18th century Britain, and it swiftly gained a following abroad. The Baltic countries were particularly enamored of the black ale. It was soon shipped to Russia, Poland, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. Stronger porters were brewed for export, and these tended to mellow and smoothen on the cold journey north. This style eventually became known as the Baltic Porter.
That's a traveling beer.
I'm a traveling beer. I've made a
How were our drinks this evening?
Very good, sir. Very good.
Very good. I had switched after I finished my my beer. I had moved on to a City Sips Cosmo. But
stop it, Kevin.
Yeah.
So just like I said, I had a Chick-fil-A, not a sponsor of the show. But I had a Coke that I poured some Old Smoky cinnamon moonshine into, which I've done before, and I've really enjoyed it. I went overboard tonight to the point that my tongue hurts.
My tongue is on fire.
My tongue is on fire.
I cannot do the show. My tongue's on fire.
I'm sorry, no. He was doing Jar Jar after getting shot. My tongue.
So, thank you for joining us tonight for episode 121, a look at the career of child actor turned Academy Award-winning director Ron Howard. Episode 121, the career of Ron Howard. We hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Don't forget, you can email us at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation. Find all of our social media and podcast links. We're on Patreon. You can support us there. You can support us at Teespring by buying our merch. Don't forget, though, that when you listen to the show, you like, subscribe, download, rate, review, do whatever you can out there to help us get our name, up there in the analytics, please. And don't forget buy our merch. Don't forget to stop by the crossroads between Pickled and Fermented next week for episode 122. We're going to have a special episode next week because we're going to be doing a little bit of a game show episode. We're going to be talking about movies that are turning 30 years old this year. And we're going to have a little competition where I give some clues and see how many movies Mike and Kevin can guess are turning 30 this year. So once again, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
Thanks again for listening to us, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.
And no, I have not seen Ahsoka for this week yet. I've been busy.
It was a good one.
So you don't find out that she's really Luke's father? Spoiler.
Spoiler.
You find out that she was Sabine's mother's roommate.
What does that make us?
Absolutely nothing.
Can't believe you fell for that.
What is with you, man?
What is with you, man? Here, let me give it back. Oops. Yeah, just figuring. There are so many things I can't do or don't want to do my first year, but I also want to get my face seen.
Yeah.
So I figure chaperoning a dance would be fine.
You mean bathroom duty does not get your face seen?
Dude, I am quite content with bathroom duty. It's a desk and a laptop, and the kids come, and it's like last name. You give me the first 3 letters. I log them in. I log them out. And I'm able to get work done.
You just sit outside the door?
I just sit outside the door. And we have a computer system that their one tab lets me know who has a hall pass from the teacher because the teacher put in the hall pass in the system. Mm-mm. And then the other tab is when they get to me, I have to check them in as to what time did they go in, check them out as to what time they left. That way, if there's graffiti or, smoke or anything in that, we can be like, all right, let's narrow it down. And we got the kids. Who was in there? When were they in there? How long? And it's awesome.
That's a really awesome system.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
There is no...
There's only one bathroom in your school, though?
No. We have several. I'm at the one in the junior high wing, and then I also have the one at the cafeteria. But not during lunchtime. But that's close to the high school hallway, so... And I cover lunch detention. So, like, these duties where I'm sitting down, I can actually do work as long as no one comes up and has to shit.
I was going to say, do you have to log in if it was a 1 or a 2?
So today I called the custodial service because there was a bunch of toilet paper, like some wadded, some on the floor, and I called them up and I locked the boys' bathroom door. And they were coming around. I said, sorry, guys, somebody messed up the bathroom, so I got to call custodians, and the administrators will be coming around soon. And they all went back to their they all went back into their room. I said, okay, I didn't have to go that bad, man. I'll come back later. It's like, okay.
Man, they were walking around taking a break.
Yeah. You do you, okay?
Well, they try to do, you wouldn't let them do.
They wouldn't. I am the captain now. I have control.
You should start doing it. Like, pretend that you have to know what you're going in there for, and be like, "So, gentlemen, is this a 1, 2, or a 3?"
3.
And if it's a 3, you do that at home.
Oh, good Lord!
I could see being called into the Mr. Tustin. We're happy that you're monitoring the bathroom, but you don't need to be so
thorough.
Thorough. So if it's a number 2, it's soft, hard, loose.
So number 2, and I turn the page to a whole other category. We're going to go through a list of things you may have consumed over the past 24 hours. You let me know with the not or not. Chili. Sauerkraut, corn.
I want a full detailed report on your number 2 when you come out of the bathroom.
Anything stringy or liquidy. Like
beans.
Fermented cheese.
I want a 2-page report, double spaced. With references.
Here's an iPad. Take a picture of it so we can log it in. We can log your log. All right, you're going for number 1. Did it smell?
Was
like
it
asparagus?
Drink more water.
Is this a single flusher or is this a double flusher?
This is gold for the blooper segment. That's what this is.
Nothing like potty humor to make us seem classy.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I promote that too when I promote the episode tonight. We're talking about Ron Howard. Make sure you stay for the bloopers, or should I call them the poopers?
The Boobers.
All right.